Welcome to Business Connection. I'm Liz Spencer. We have a fascinating guest in studio today. It's Mathura Sani, and she's the director of the NNA Kathak Dance and Drama Academy. Welcome.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about you. You're very fascinating.
Thank you so much. First of all, thank you for having me here.
Oh, you're welcome.
I grew up in almost like a university campus called an Indian Institute of Technology back in India, and came from an educated family. But I started learning dance when I was 6. I think my mother saw that in me. I used to close doors and dance on any random songs and emote the expressions and the emotions that I would see on the actresses on the screen. So I think she saw that, and I started learning. She started teaching me. She put me into the classes for Indian classical dance called as Kathak. So I started learning Kathak first from Madhumita Ghosh, who right now resides in New Jersey, and then through her, she was the senior disciple of my main teacher, who is Padma Shri Dr. Roshan Kumari. She is really a pioneer in this style of dancing, and she has made her own compositions, and in fact those compositions are so meticulous, and she's a legend in this, and those compositions are so detailed oriented. They're still masterpieces even till this date. And I started learning from her for about 17 years until I graduated in the same. So I graduated in Kathak when I was like 17 years old or something, and since then I've been teaching. So I had about 30-40 students in India before I came to the United States. I came to the United States to do my master's in Urbana-Champaign, did my double master's there, but I never stopped teaching this style of dancing. So I started teaching Kathak in Urbana-Champaign. I had about 30 students there. And then I started working in Chicago downtown. I was teaching there as well. So the teaching never stopped. And was performing pro bono, voluntary activities, performances a lot for fundraisers and for a lot of charity organizations. Did a lot of performances which would raise funds for underprivileged children in India. So did a lot of fundraisers like that. And then a few years back, at the same time, I was working as a structural engineer also.
Right, that's the part I think that people would find very interesting, that you're a structural engineer and a very successful dancer and actress all in one.
Yeah, I mean, I was into theater all my childhood. I did a lot of theater, English, Hindi and Marathi. Those two are two native languages from India. Did a lot of extensive theater, did a couple of films at that time, but somewhere I think education played an important role, and striking the balance between the two came into play. But the actual love and passion for dancing and acting never went away. Though I am as equally passionate about structural engineering, and I was working as a senior structural engineer, when I saw that the community really needed a good Kathak education based, I think that was really lacking in the society here. And I really wanted to, the main goal was to just give back to the community what I got when I was a child, what my mother provided for me. She took me to these dance classes and she exposed me to this beautiful style of learning. And I wanted somewhere to give that back to the community in the true sense of how I got it, how I learned it. So my main goal, or the NNA's main goal, is to take that forward, and we teach exactly the same way that I was taught as a child. So I think that's where the quality comes into play with our NNA Academy. So,
tell me a little bit about the name.
Oh, sure, yeah. So yes, it is a little hard to pronounce because the first two words come from the language from India. The first word is Nritya, N-R-I-T-Y-A, which actually means dance. But that is actually, I took that from my teacher's dance school name, which is Nritya Kala Kendra. So I literally adopted it from her name, the first word, because somewhere I wanted to follow that lineage and continue that in my school, because what all I know is through her, you know, because of her. So that's where the first word comes from. The Natya comes from the actor within me, or the acting part. So Natya means expression, emotions, and I think any kind of dance is just so empty without any emotions or expressions. So I think that is a very, very valuable part of any sort of dancing. So that's the second word, which is the Natya, and then the academy. That's where the word comes from. So,
talk to me a little bit about the curriculum that you have chosen for your academy.
So when I saw what was happening, I did a lot of research, the educator side about me. So I did a lot of research and found out what's going on right now and what is being taught, and I came to know that the institution that I graduated from, there are three main universities in India who do, the curriculum based in such classical music and dance, especially even worldwide nowadays. There are a lot of institutions who do that. But when I went through the curriculum for each of these institutions, I found out that Akhil Bharatiya Mahavidyalaya, Gandharva Mahavidyalaya, is one of the institutions which has a most stringent and a comprehensive education system and a curriculum in Kathak, in this style of dancing. And I decided to adapt that because it's pretty tough. It is tough for any teacher to adapt this and teach to their students. But I thought, again, if NNA is striving for quality, then we should provide the best what's out there in our academy. Otherwise, what's the point of just doing something, So that's why we adapted that curriculum. That's the most stringent curriculum. It's very comprehensive, and there's hardly any other university board which does such comprehensive curriculum in their syllabus. So,
talk to me a little bit about your student-teacher ratio and your thoughts on that.
As you know, as I just mentioned, I've been teaching since I was 18 years old, and I didn't know how I would be as a teacher, but I think that's something that I'm good at naturally, probably. I'm not sure. But I think I love teaching. I love kids. And I have two boys of my own. And I know what kids need at that age and what parents were looking out for. As a parent, I know what I would be looking out for my children when I put them into any kind of activities. So this kind of style of dance is very meticulous. It's a lot of math, sometimes a lot of science behind the dance as well. You really need to know what you're doing, how you're holding your posture, your grace. So I don't think all that can be controlled in a class of 20 or 25 people. It's too much, especially for this style of dancing. When you're actually watching their feet, when you're watching their posture, where are they putting their hands? How are they looking at their hands? Are they looking at their hands in the right way? Are they holding the spine in the right way? All of these different aspects, I think my class ranges maximum to 10 people. That is also quite a bit. So 10 is a good group where I can actually observe. It's me. That's a personal thing. So I can at least observe the 10 people and know and teach them and guide them in the right way. So that's the ratio that I maintain. That doesn't mean that if I have 3 people, I don't teach them. If it's a group of 3, I teach them too. So I don't shy away from, let the 10 the group of 10 be complete, and then only I'll start a batch. It's not like that. It's all about quality versus quantity. So we strive hard to give back the quality again, and there's a balance in the fun and the learning aspect as well. I am a very strict teacher. I have given timeouts and all those things, but at the same time, I'm very, very fun with my students, and all my students will vouch for that. There is a class that ends with hugs. That's the tradition of the class. They just need a hug from me at the end of the class. So there's a lot of affection, and there's a lot of fun things that go on, and I keep developing these fun things. There's one thing that we developed was a elimination round. So whoever gets eliminated gets rest for 5 minutes, and then they get to perform. Now the rest is really, really looked out for, because it's a very tedious and a vigorous workout class almost, because we do a lot of footwork, we do a lot of math behind the footwork, and then do the footwork. So we do the theoretical aspect of the dance and then put it into action and learn it, how you would put your footwork with those numbers in place.
So are there any exams?
That's a very good question. So we talked about the curriculum and how I have adapted the most stringent and the comprehensive curriculum from Gandharva Mahavidyalaya. So Gandharva conducts these yearly exams back in India, but it's known worldwide. So any certificate from Gandharva University is actually can get you a credit at U of I if you're going for a dance major.
Wow.
Very good to know, right?
Right.
So any degree from such a prestigious university has value even in US schools. Now, if the certificate was from NNA, that wouldn't have a value. But because it's from Gandharva, it has that value. And all students, I have students aging from 5-year-old to 60-year-olds. So, so as soon as they are ready to sit for their exam, starting age 9, age 10, they can start level 1, level 2 exams. I recommend that to their parents because it's an investment. It is a big deal to give these exams. As you know, if the certificate has so much value, they have to show that much dedication. And the exams are usually happening in April of every year. So they have a set date, and we are very lucky to have an exam center right here in Naperville. So we don't have to travel anywhere. The examiner comes from out of state. So it's a very closed door, a very meticulous, a strict examination that happens. And it happens over a weekend where we have a practical and a theory, both different exams that happen. So yes, we do have that, and students can actually take a degree in dance through NNA.
And you also do a recital once a...
Yes. So, just like at any other dance academies, we have annual recitals mostly at the end of the school year. This year, it's just a little bit early. It's on May 11th that we are doing the recital at the Downers Park District, Lincoln Center. Yeah, but the recital is where students portray and showcase what they've learned year-round, and it's all pure Kathak, classical dancing that they do. We don't usually mix it with any other styles or fusions or anything like that. If they want, we can fuse a little bit. That brings me to a very good point, actually, if I can share. So any kind of classical dancing comes with a lot of discipline. Control over the rhythm behind that classical type of dancing, and grace. But knowing the rhythm behind any kind of classical dancing, especially Kathak, is very important. And that is what we learn early on, and we keep learning, and I am still learning. So what I teach my girls is to hear when you're hearing any composition, it could be Bollywood or any kind of different kind of music, hear the rhythmic pattern behind it. Once you understand the percussions and the rhythm behind the song, you will be able to perform much better than anybody else out there. So because you will understand that base of that knowledge, a base of that song. The other thing is the grace. What is the lyricist trying to say? If you can portray the feelings and emotions out of the lyrics, that will bring grace. And then I give a lot of tricks and traits of the tricks of the trade in terms of how do you portray grace within your actions and things like that. So.
What's next for the Academy? What's your hopes and dream for it?
We just recently did a huge musical. I do at least 1 or 2 productions a year from NNA, and we've been doing, talking about rhythm. My productions were called Rhythm for last 2 years back in a row, two of the productions that we did. First production, I had some Indian artists that came over and did perform for us. And then the second production we did in-house, and it was almost based on a theme of a poet reading his diary and how the characters jump out of the diary and come out and dance.
Oh, wow.
That was the second production. The third production we did was a revival of a very classic Hindi movie back in 1900s, and it was a very just one of those classic movies that we revived, and I rewrote it a little bit with a twist, and we did the whole spiel. So live music, live dancing, sets, and audio, visuals, everything. So it was almost a mini Broadway. So yes, one day we will get to Broadway as well. But right now, NNA is also focused about expanding the 2 studios. I think we talked about that. One in UIC campus and the other one in Schaumburg. So
I have no doubt that you will get to Broadway one day.
Thank you.
And you are very determined, and I think that comes from your study and from everything that you're all about. So thank you for sharing with me about your academy. I think it's awesome, and we wish you a lot of luck. And we're going to be right back with more Business Connections. Stay tuned.